Hi, and welcome everyone to the Hobo Radio. I am your host, Professor Tuck, coming to you from the high desert of Arizona. Hi, and welcome. Happy 4th of July to those of you that are listening publicly. This is going to be a pretty short episode. I had somebody ask me to talk about a subject. We're in the process of doing a collaboration between me and another content creator. And I kind of want to, give my own little take on certain things, that are outside it, so that we can still collaborate. But this is something that I think is really good for Spiritual Friday. So every weekday at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, we go live on hobotuck.com. If you've missed the broadcast, or uh, if you've missed the broadcast, come over and it's embedded in the blog. If you would like to be here live, you can go to hobotuck.com, and we start at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. So Monday is Constitutional Monday, Tuesday is Privacy, Wednesday is Community, Thursday is Making Money, and Friday is Spiritual Friday. Because here's the reality of it. If you want to be a well-rounded human being, whether you're a survivalist, you're preparing for SHTF, it doesn't really matter. You have to be a well-rounded individual. You can't just sit there and say, I can shoot a gun. You can't sit there and say, well, I know how to grow food. Now, that's just one piece of all the different things in which you need to learn. And in some instances, those are trivial if you actually know how to build yourself out as a well-rounded character. And that's the reason why I talk about Spiritual Friday. It's not because of religion or denomination or a viewpoint. It is taking the things that are being as destructive to us as possible, that are causing us. Like last week, we talked about self-guilt, and part of the reason why we talk about self-guilt is that people are making mistakes and harming themselves and putting themselves in situations that they shouldn't, because of the imposed self-guilt that is given by the system, through the various agencies and organizations that we interact with on a daily to weekly basis. And the thing is even I've had talks with somebody, and we've talked about mental health. And for some people, they get harmed by the system, and other people are able to get some help. It may not be the best help, but at least it gets them going in the right direction. Very few people are actually going to take ownership and control of what's going on with them, uh, uh, as far as their mental well-being and their balance, and the balancing um, of their energies, whether it be positive or negative. We need to kind of be in a neutral, positive state as much and as often as possible. Why would we want to be in that? Because um, something that I think most people don't understand is that when it comes to most things, if not all things, emotion really has no place in life. Not in your decision making process. It has no place in how you conduct yourself and things like that. There's a difference between emotion and ideological viewpoints. You can tie emotion to it, and so on and so forth. But if you start allowing emotion to be put into it, what you're really doing is you're already coming up with your preconceived notion that something is already that way, good or bad. And then because you have that viewpoint that this is either good or bad, then you associate the good or bad uh, uh, definition that you have come to know. But is the act itself good or bad? It is neither good, it is neither bad. It is how you choose to interpret it, because your interpretation is your reality. If you and I are talking, and you think that I am doing something wrong, and so therefore in your mind you think that I am being malicious, even though it may be just an honest mistake. There's no clarification that's being done. Most people will start getting frustrated even when they don't understand the situation, and then they will allow themselves to feel the emotion, allow that emotion to dictate not only their responses, but how they choose to move forward. And then therefore you could take a situation that was neither good nor bad, that was neutral in itself. It may have been a misunderstanding, a misinterpretation. Maybe the right word wasn't used for some snowflake. But at the end of the day, when we sit back and we think about the things that we are going through, once we're able to strip out emotion, what it allows us to do is to be able to see things from a neutral point of view. A guy pulls out a gun and points it at me, and because it's stated that he did not like that I was doing a live stream. That was the reason why he pulled it out. Now I could say, well, this guy's trying to manipulate and intimidate me. And I could come at it and see it as a negative thing. I could also see it as a positive thing. This guy is in a moment of survival. He is in his state of like self-preservation, and he deems or feels or thinks that what it is that I'm doing is going to bring undue stress or undue harm to his basic survival because of the people in which because of a sponsorship that I had or have. And this is something that you as an individual, most people would go on the negative route and then they would shame him. Some people might be too empathetic and they may go, well, this guy is, he did it for self-preservation. It was a crime of passion, so therefore he does not need to pay a heavy penalty. It was an emotional response. But what we're saying by choosing one of those two ways is, one is we're not able to see both the good and bad to neutralize it. Yes, he was trying to intimidate me, but why was he trying to intimidate me? He was trying to intimidate me because he was acting out of self-preservation. So on one hand, you can understand it, but then you still cannot condone it because it was improper behavior. But then because it gets labeled as a crime of passion, his bad behavior could and will end up getting skewed because he's now being enabled of, oh, that's they're only going to give me 3 months. That's not bad at all. There's nothing I have to worry about. And that is, and so therefore now, because the system stepped up and protected him without even giving him any real penalty, without any giving him any real consequence, because he is now able to come back into the community, intimidate and harass the community. I wasn't the first one he did it to. I was just the first one that he talked or that made a stink about it, because I was not going to tolerate this. But see, this is where neutral and positive and stripping emotions out, because I can see why he did it, and I can see how I can understand it. But just because you see it and you understand it, you still don't attach an emotion to sympathize with the guy or to be angry with the guy, because he made an action, he chose to, and this is kind of how it turned out. It was neither good nor bad. And the reason why I talk about this is because we as individuals, most of us, whether it be just a little or whether it be a whole lot, are broken in some form or fashion. Whether it be being taught bad habits that therefore turned into traumas because of the reaction for being incoherent within society. It could be all kinds of different things. But when you are broken, one of the things that you tend to do is you tend to look at things from the point of view of that trauma. So if I'm dating a woman and she traumatizes me, now whatever reaction that I'm having, because I'm a little bit broken, because now I don't know if I can trust anybody, so on and so forth. Then the next relationship or the next person that I talk to, because I've allowed those traumas and those emotions to take control, what I end up doing is now I project those same things on the next person that I talk to. And now I'm walking around paranoid. I'm going around and I'm questioning their fidelity. I am questioning whether or not they're being honest with me. I'm stalking them. Now I need complete access to their phone so that I can go through their messages so that they can placate my trauma, my issue. And is that appropriate? Is that right? Is that something that you should do? If you are a broken person and if you've become broken in some form or fashion, that is an inappropriate response. And to sit back and to justify that says that you haven't necessarily learned anything. Because the thing is, and I had to go through this too, a girl that I was about to get married to in my early 20s, I found out that she was cheating on me with my roommate. And it was my roommate that came and told me. And he's like, dude, I don't like you, but I don't think, I just so you know, this girl's cheating on you, and I'm the one sleeping with her. It was not fun. Um, but the thing is, by me, when I got older and I got more mature, I started understanding that I was creating my own reality. So the next woman that I would date would cheat on me in a different way. And then, because I was projecting that on there, because here's the thing, whatever you see, whatever you think, whatever you feel becomes your reality. Not because it's actual reality, but because that's how you perceive it. And therefore, you are either operating from a place of love or a place of fear. And if you are not operating in between those, you're in the wrong place. You should always be operating with love, of course, but fear is our greatest obstacle that we need to overcome. So as I would go into another relationship, instead of making that my reality of what I'd already been through, you take a moment and you say, okay, that was them, this is this. And if you haven't come to a point to where I don't need to understand it, because there are some things that people do that it's just, there's no reason and no way to justify it. There's no way to be able to explain it away, but you still have to understand it. Why did they do this in its rawest form? Therefore you have an understanding. And instead of sitting there going, okay, the next person I'm going with, because I didn't make a right choice to begin with, the next person I go to get involved with, what ends up happening is I what ends up happening is I'm able to vet that person. Instead of having lack of confidence of what it is that I'm doing, I'm having confidence in who I am, and trusting myself. What were some red flags? What were some indicators that would have pointed me in the direction that this person was going to break my trust? So for me, one thing I always keep an eye on is flaky behavior. Do you do what you say you're going to do, or are you flaky? Um, and the thing is I pay attention to these things, and I'm not looking at it like, okay, because another woman's cheated on me, this woman's going to cheat on me, because this is a completely different person. This is not the person that I am. I'm not dating that person anymore. I've chose to walk away and find something more healthy. So by me imposing all of that on this individual, what ends up happening is now I recreate that whole situation that I was trying to avoid to begin with. Why? Because you still have an emotional tie to what happened. You weren't able to strip the emotions out of it and just see it for what it was. Somebody, yeah, they were dishonest. This person kind of really had all the key indicators that I could never trust him to begin with. And because I was young and naive, I wasn't paying attention to it. But now I'm older and I'm wiser and I'm paying attention to it. And so instead of sitting there and accusing a person of like, okay, I've had somebody do this to me, I need you to sign an agreement saying that you won't do that to me. Well, at that point in time, you're projecting your fears on that person. And any wise person would say, you know what, that's probably not going to be something healthy to get into, because this person is always going to be stuck in that particular in that particular instance. And this doesn't just apply to dating. This applies to all relationships, whether it be your friends, whether it be your enemies, whether it be your family, whether it be professional relationships, whether it be strong platonic relationships. This is across the board. Everybody, like, you have friends that don't help you when you need help. You have people that you call your best friends that one day they show you that they really weren't the friend that you thought that they were. It doesn't matter. It's all cross applied. And so if you let that one person